I'm Will Yeoman. I'm CEO of Writing WA, and welcome to another episode of Pod Street, Writing WA's official podcast. Today, I am very happy to be joined by Baran Rostamian, who is a local West Australian poet, and we're celebrating the release of her first collection, which is called Woven Frays. That's Frays. I wonder if there's a play on words there with phrase as in phrases. But look, welcome to the show, Baran.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, look, congratulations. It must be so fantastic to have this out in the world. Look, before we go any further, though, would you please just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Baran Rostamian is a writer and law student living on unceded Whadjuk Noongar Boodja, where she was not born, and I recognise there's privilege in being able to speak your mind. Oh, I remember who I am now. I'm dumbfounded and disgusted by the way and the why of things, and I believe it's important to show love. Is that a good intro?
That's fantastic. Thank you. And I'm sure a lot more will be teased out as we progress. See, I could have done that. I could have just gone to the back of the book and read that out, but I thought, no, it's proper to let the guests tell us who they are. So you've done that.
It came from my voice. There's all the layers of meaning.
Indeed. So, look, as I said to earlier, congratulations on a terrific collection. Look, at first, it's very hard hitting. I didn't know what to make of it at first, in the sense that I guess I'm the kind of reader that's probably used to more, let's say, traditional forms of poetry, and this is just amazing because it feels like a maelstrom, like a deluge of thought and feeling and form as well. The multitude of forms, it's incredible. I don't know what can I say. How do you present this as a unified body of work? I mean, this is a difficulty that would face a lot of poets, I imagine, who publish the poem separately over a number of years and then have to try to make sense of them in one collection. How did you do it?
That's a great question. I think my process is quite different to the process of some writers that, I've spoken with. People start with an idea. I don't start with an idea. I collect, or I think the better word is I hoard little snippets and like ideas and stuff in my notes app, literally, and then I'll compile those, and that's the meaning-making process for me. So it's not so much, when you say, like, how did you bring it together, it's like the bringing things together is like what writing is to me, I think. But there was a lot of, like, printing and, like, collaging and, like, cutting stuff out, rearranging it, stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, well, I know the basic structure you've got is paper, rock, scissors, or is that in that right order? Yeah, that's really interesting. That's kind of fun. How did you arrive at that point?
Honestly, I think I was like, do I call it 1, 2, 3? That's kind of boring. And then I thought that this just made a lot of sense.
Right.
That was a boring answer, but it's true.
No. Look, it works for me. I mean, any kind of compass to guide me through this forest is fantastic. And also, I was fascinated that it is clearly important to you, the visual aspect of the poetry, the layout, the topography, the way you use the cuttings and so forth, and the space, especially the way you use space. Mm-hmm. I've always been fascinated by that because I still feel that poetry is primarily an auditory medium, but I'm also aware that a lot of people read it on the page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I disagree so hard. I think it's something to be looked at, but, it's both, it's everything, and it's not my place to say so. But, yeah, I think so maybe if I give like a concrete example, like alternating left and right alignment, for example, that's something that I do. And that implies like two voices or internal dialogue, or just like, I guess, two entities. Like, I'm not really, I don't want to be like, this is the meaning, because you can take whatever meaning from it that you like. But,
you don't tie it down to one. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's kind of one thing that I like playing around with. And I have, there are some poems that have some words highlighted and like bold, crossed out, or all of those things. So there are 2 or 3 different ways that some of the poems can be read. I like to play around with that idea as well.
Look, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm wondering if you could read one of those poems you're alluding to and maybe try and have some fun with that, because you're saying they could be read in different ways. And also the fact that what you're reading, no one is actually seeing. All they're hearing is your voice. I think that could be really interesting. If you've got your collection handy, could you pick something out?
Yeah, I'll probably read Muzak or... actually, no, I don't want to read that one. I want to read the one where it's like... This one's called Stand Up. I'm going to read it all the way through, and then I'm going to read the highlighted bits, and I'm not going to read all the different ways it can be read because we'd be here until, like, next week. The stuff that's crossed out, the stuff that's highlighted in black, there's stuff that's crossed out and highlighted in black, and it's a complicated Venn diagram-y thing. Anyway, joke. Lol, I don't think it's going well. Lol, I just need a little girl's. Lol, I think it's so funny and I think I can do it too. I think I have to go get it now. I just need a lot more stuff to help. Lol, I think it's so funny and funny I just remembered. I have a few more things. I can park at my mum's and I'll be home by myself too. If you need anything else, I'll come over for dinner or anything. Lol, I hope it's okay. Okay, cool. Thanks again for your birthday wishes. Hey, thanks again. Love you. Love, did you ask your mum? Love you too, but I've lost it and I don't know what to do. I have to do something. Revolt was in a way of a mess. It would just need a bit more time for the people. I have no idea how to get it out to you, and you have a lot more than you can think about me. I just need a little more sleep. Now I have a few things to govern on the books. There's a bad hair day coming up, but I'm not feeling well. Love you anyway. And I'm going to read it now. I'm going to read just the bits that are highlighted.
Okay.
It's a lot shorter. You'll be glad to know.
I can see that.
Protest is a joke. Think it's so funny. Need a lot more stuff to help. I have a few more things. You know what I have. Do something. So it's a much simpler message.
But it makes sense. Yeah, it's great.
I'm glad it makes sense.
No, truly, yeah. I was really interested because looking at it, yeah, I can see some patterns, but when you read it, I can pick up a lot more, or a lot kinds of different patterns, like the rhythms and the repetitions, especially the way lol comes in like a kind of motif, you know. It's not immediately obvious when I'm just looking at it. So if that helps you, like you said before, it's everything. I think you're right. It's auditory, it's visual, it's everything.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm really keen to know, if we look at the collection as a whole, who and what are some of your main inspirations?
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess those who don't shy away from the truth, you know, like right now I'd say people like Palico Woman, Aurora Milroy, Andrew Sutherland, Laura Jean McKay, Song Kang Sha Tang, Rashida Murphy, Overland Magazine, because they write and they talk about what matters, especially like the genocide in Palestine that we must not forget continues as we speak.
What about the past? Because I'm interested in how you became a poet in the first place. But I'm assuming that you had read poetry and there were particular poets that really spoke to you.
Yeah, I think I really liked, I think it was Melissa Lozada. I'm butchering this name. But she wrote Paluda. And Robert Wood actually lent me that book when I was a tiny little cherub at the Centre for Stories, and I didn't know what I was doing. And he was like, read this book. And I read that book, and it was all about, you know, powerful women and like being hairy. It was great. So that's like one book that comes to mind. But yeah, I think I'm more so inspired by, you know, what's happening in the world, and my poetry is my reaction. So I think, yeah, I don't really like to separate now and the past and all of those things, because I think that can get really complicated, because points in time I'm still like myself. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, and you kind of have answered this already, but what kind of challenges does a poet face in today's world? And by that I mean, what does it mean to be a poet in today's world, as distinct from, okay, just a lawyer, for example? Being cheeky there.
No comment. I guess in today's world, like in yesterday's and tomorrow's world, I'd say censorship, maybe. Sometimes like self-censorship. but also boo-hoo. You know, we can suck it up and get over that if we're a little bit brave. So, yeah, not to play you a tiny, tiny little violin, but, yeah, I guess that's my answer.
No, that's a really good answer. And, you know, we introduced the collection, and I'm just wondering how it felt when it was first published and when it was out there in the world, and the kinds of reactions that started to come in and the kinds of feedback you were getting, and how if at all that mattered to you.
Well, my mum thinks I'm pretty cool.
That's a major achievement, surely, for anyone who's mother to think they're cool. Yes.
No. In all seriousness, it's been interesting getting feedback from people I know. Actually, I'm also curious about what people like I don't know or people I don't know well have to say about Woven Frays. I've had a bit of that, but not as much. Yeah, I'm curious by nature. I want to know which random line it was that struck a chord with a particular reader, or like everyone attempts the little activity on page 40. Like, tag me or something. I want to see, you know? Yeah, it's curious.
Okay, so you're almost asking for a more collaborative approach beyond the obvious collaboration of someone who reads the book and brings their own worldview with it anyway.
Yeah, just because I'm nosy.
I like it. Curiosity is a very important thing. That's maybe a more polite word, isn't it? Nosy. Yeah. Now, look, I wanted to ask you about this Nietzsche quote, and you know, Friedrich Nietzsche. It's probably not really that cool to talk about him nowadays, but that's okay because this quote has always stayed with me, and I think we can separate it from the guy. And this idea that you have to have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. I love that quote. What do you think?
Well, I mean, as a person who is very much chaos having, I like to think that's true, but like perhaps you should also ask someone with a quiet mind who's reached enlightenment or something, because that would be balanced for you. Obviously, I'm going to say what I said though.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Okay, if you can introduce me to someone who has actually achieved enlightenment, I'll be a very happy person.
Damn, I was introduce me, but okay.
Sorry.
I'm sure they're out there.
All right, well, they were the main points I wanted to cover from my end. Is there anything else you'd really love to mention or discuss that we haven't really touched on?
Let me see. Maybe like, thank you for having me, first of all.
It's been a pleasure.
Time that we have left, maybe I share another small poem.
That would be amazing. I was hoping you'd say that.
Okay. Well, I could read the one on page 67 or the one on page 76, but you have to pick in the next 2 seconds.
Oh, just let me grab my copy again. I've got to remind myself. Tick, 67 or 76. Okay, I'm going to go for 67 because I like the number.
Oh, I like this one. All right. Here goes.
I like the cats on the facing page too, by the way, or mice, whatever the hell they are.
Oh, wow. That's actually, little secret. That's to do with the one on page 65. That's to do with the previous.
I assumed it wasn't to do with this poem, by the way, but I just love the pictures. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I'll read it now.
Go for it.
We talk about that place we love and still despise. Grey, strangled, suffocating, blood, silenced anxiety as city waits, pregnant with uncertainty, hope. Gunshots stopped in time, keep wishing. Fire burning, thieves, real thieves, thieves with long black capes, thieves with hats and capes, thieves carrying law books in their pockets, power-hungry thieves, thieves performing, thieves in four-wheel drives, thieves stealing the air. Masses vomit the fake god forcefully, blood in the sick. The cries, go where you came from. An uncle's bitter jokes, all we have are jokes. Laugh when the bullet goes through her little chest. Laugh when all they say is no, laugh when you cannot cry.
Yes, that's really powerful. I love this. And I also like, for those of you out there who are just listening, obviously you've indicated the line breaks with just double slashes and things, so you haven't separated it out into a verse, which is really interesting. And the rhythm is so obvious there, the way you read it.
Thank you.
Cumulative power, isn't it? Like that. It's great. No, thank you.
Not affording it space, I guess. Almost here it is.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, what can I say? Thank you again for being on Pod Street. It's an absolute pleasure to catch up. I know you and I spoke many years ago, actually, when I was still at the West.
When I was a weird little baby.
Absolutely. Different hairstyle and everything. Yeah, I know. Amazing.
Yeah, no, I remember that interview. I said something about cats and conjunctivitis, but yeah, it was good.
As you do, of course.
Yeah.
Inextricably linked. Well, thank you again. As I say, it was a pleasure having you at Pod Street, and look forward to following your career as it progresses.
Thank you so much.